Right, going from Barry Avenue in Grimsby back to the Grimsby Town train station. You're hearing me talk on one of these videos for the first time. This is a suggestion by one of my sons. Well, both of them actually thought it would be a good idea, is to do one of the videos instead of doing the usual thing I do, but to do a voiceover. They said like a blog or something like that. So I thought about it and I thought I'll give it a go. But what shall I talk about? I mean, when I do the history on stuff like that of buildings and streets and so forth, obviously with each video I do the research. You know, I'm not a sort of a font of knowledge in that regard, so I don't know these things off the top of my head. So it's not like I'm going to be able to impart all this onto the video as I'm driving along. So I thought, if I'm going to talk, what am I going to talk about? And I thought it would make sense as I'm driving a taxi, that if on the way back to the station, that I would talk about taxi driving and being a taxi driver and all that goes with that. So just a brief summary of myself is that I've been driving taxis now for coming up to about 7.5 years, and on the whole I enjoy it as a job. It's very good. It's very nice to be your own boss and make decisions for yourself and decide upon what hours you want to work and how long you want to work for. Obviously that's got its restrictions, in as much as you need to work the hours, enough hours at the very least, to earn a reasonable living from it. Something that most taxi drivers would suggest is getting tougher and tougher, perhaps maybe as people take taxis less, and perhaps because there are more taxis on the road than there once were, and the taxi drivers that are on the road are working longer hours, so that means that the passengers, the footfall is spread a bit thin. A lot of people will ask you, if you're a taxi driver, a lot of people ask you certain questions. Obviously the ones that will come to most people's mind is that business of asking a taxi driver whether he's been busy, or how long he's working for that shift, or how long he's been on, and all that stuff, you know. And if you've watched any Peter Kay over recent years, you'll know that that's a kind of a long-standing joke. I don't mind those questions. I've heard of taxi drivers getting a bit annoyed with it now, but I don't mind those questions. They're a reasonable icebreaker, and it shows that the passengers at least got a modicum of a sense of humour. It's only with further investigations to whether you find out whether they truly have got a sense of humour or not. However, it's good because I like to chat. I think it's good. Get that relationship going. It doesn't have to be too serious, but it's much better than, from my point of view, I prefer a chat with the passenger than to sit in total silence. I find that awkward. So what is it like? I mean, some people will say to me that they will ask me, do I get a lot of trouble from passengers? And you don't get a lot of trouble. I would say that for the vast majority of the time, most passengers are absolutely perfectly nice. Just dropped off a little old lady. She struggles with a walking stick and that, but delightful little old lady, and she just chats away about her garden and things that she's been doing in town and things like that. And it's perfectly fine and nice, and you meet lots of different kinds of people from all different kinds of backgrounds, and for the best part, everybody's fine. I think when you do meet a passenger who gives you some trouble, which does from time to time, it can leave you with such a bad taste that it can actually be the defining moment in your whole shift. So therefore, it looms larger on your consciousness, you know. So it's like it's more important that you've had one person be really unpleasant to you than having 40 people who have been absolutely fine throughout that shift. It leaves a greater impression. But the truth of the matter is, most people are absolutely fine. You know, just imagine yourself. You go into a shop and you're polite to the people in the shop. You get on a bus, you're polite to the driver. I think for the best part, societally, we manage to get on fine. It's just those very small minority of people who ruin it for everybody else. I have had some very difficult situations, especially when you've, on the very rare occasion, you may have had something that was borderline violence, you know. I know some taxi drivers who have actually been physically assaulted, and I haven't been physically assaulted as such myself, very close to it, but I have had people who in their rage have damaged my car. On one occasion, quite badly. It cost me a fair bit of money to get it fixed, and basically cost me considerably more than the whole shift that I did that day to earn, if you know what I mean. So that's a shame when that happens, but these are things that do happen. We do work, obviously, in hours where you're going to be picking people up who are the worst for wear, so to speak, and they've been out enjoying themselves, and some of them enjoy themselves rather too much. So that's the worst part of the job, you know. But generally speaking, I think as long as you go into it with the right attitude, I've had to learn how to adjust the way I see things and try to relax and let things go, so that the stress doesn't overtake you. Then that makes the job easier to bear. Like anything, it's got its ups and downs, but I would, if you've got the right temperament, I wouldn't put anybody off from having a go at it. So I don't know whether this video is going to work for this. I don't know. I hadn't actually planned it. I was talking to my son the other day, and he said, "Why don't you have a go at this?" So I thought I would, and here we are. So I'm back at the station. I don't know whether anything I've said has been interesting to anybody, but maybe I'll spice it up, get some more interesting subjects to talk about in the future, and then that would be more fun. I'm not so sure it's going to work. I don't think I've got enough of a personality to really make this interesting. Perhaps my second son, he suggested that we could he could get in the car with me and we can have a drive round and do a blog in that way, where we're bouncing off each other, and that might actually be a better idea. I might try it out one day and see what it sounds like, because at least we can get good conversations going. We certainly have some good debates when we get together, so I could see that actually working. Anyway, so let's see what feedback I get from the people who have taken an interest in my channel so far, and hopefully if they like it, I can do some more of it, only on the proviso that I can make it more interesting than what this one how I feel this one will be. Okay, so I'll speak to you again soon, and don't forget, if you do like my videos, please subscribe and hit the notification bell and all the stuff that YouTube creators tell you to do. I would be very appreciative of that, and I'll see you again soon. Have a good day.